Y'all, if you aren't giddy, anticipatory, thinking how your life was bad, but now,
But now, Clint,
how is it doing, Daniel?
it's doing good because Georgia plays football tomorrow,
There it
and we're
is.
going to talk about it today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode, brought to you by Game Time. More on Game Time in a moment.
Well, it is game time, Clint. It is time for the game. So
yeah, it's very apropos that Game Time is the
fitting.
sponsor because it was Game Time last night. It's game time tonight, and it's really, really the best game time, the most important game time.
Well, the varsity teams
tomorrow.
play tomorrow on Saturday. That's when the real squads are going to try it out there. We have a lot to discuss. Full disclosure, peek behind the curtain here. We typically would be recording this podcast on a Thursday night to release on Friday. Maybe you're an early riser. Maybe you have an early commute and the pod wasn't available for you this morning the way that you normally would. We apologize for that. We were busy last night. What were we busy doing, Clint?
I was feasting eyeballs on Billy Napier and the supposed heir apparent to Kirby Smart's defense get absolutely embarrassed.
Lord,
on
what is
national
happening at
television.
Florida?
We told you, by the way, your boy want to know already on the week. I was 0-2 last week. Boom. Want to know. Gave you
Come
the
in
lock.
strong.
Said integrity. I knew
Not
it all
worried
off-season.
about it.
Nope. Whatever.
Clint, let me just ask you this. Billy Napier, what kind of coaching was on display last night? We got multiple number threes out on the field. We've got all manner of people not lined up correctly. We ran a play call on 4th and 13 with the game on the line when we threw the ball to a receiver behind the line of scrimmage.
So, Daniel, what you're telling me is that foresight, vision casting, execution, discipline are lacking. Now, I'm not a head football coach.
Yeah.
But I've watched enough good football coach to realize those are very, very vital to how you play a game and how you win a game.
You know what else is lacking at Florida, Clint? An offensive line. Clint, what is that? Oh, I mean, we don't have time to get into Florida. This is not a Florida breakdown.
Utah
that offensive line is so bad.
Utah was out its two best defensive linemen already. Second play of the
Whipping
game,
fools like ragdolls.
their outside backer goes out of the game. Later on in the game, they have another guy go down with injury. They are decimated on the defensive line, and Florida could not buy any sort of time in the pocket or run game for that matter.
But they got such great guys out of the portal all off season. I've been hearing about what kind of massive recruiting wins Billy Napier's been doing.
The whole game could be
portal.
summed up in the interception that Pearsall let go out of his hands. A bad pass with pressure coming at him. The wide receiver can't catch it, gets bullied down by the cornerback who catches the ball after
Absolutely just
pushing
says.
the wide receiver down
Yeah.
so that he could take it. It was glorious. Now,
right.
take that feeling. Okay?
Yeah. And
Wrap it
multiply
up.
it times infinity.
There it is. Because
That's what
Georgia
we're in for
plays
tomorrow. All right. What are we excited about? What are we nervous about? What are we not sleeping on? Obviously, UT Martin, not a opponent that is on in the same class as Georgia. Not an opponent that's going to give Georgia any sort of a competitive game. So, does that mean there's nothing to be excited about? Does that mean there's no reasons to worry? We've been telling you all week that's not the case. So, Clint, I ask you, what are you most excited about on Saturday, tomorrow, between the hedges, 6 p.m.? What are you ready to see? What excites you the most?
Okay. The answer that y'all should be saying, just no matter what, is the fact that the season opens for Georgia and you get to see your boys out on the field. That's the most exciting thing. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is UT Martin. No, it is not SEC play. It does not matter because you're going to see Kirby come out on the field. You're going to see Glenn come out on the field. You're going to see all the dogs and all the talent and everybody out there. And it's just going to make you feel warm fuzzies all over the place. But here's what I'm most excited about. And it also goes into the worry aspect. It's the same. It's the bucket and the bottle.
What's it? This right here?
It's that right there. If you don't know what the bottle and the bucket is, bonfire.com/the199 store/the199. Thank you. Okay. I am excited to watch Brock Bowers take a handoff, Daniel. I think you can take a handoff in this game. I am genuinely excited. When Brock Bowers came out of high school, we went and watched film, and we watched him play every position imaginable. Punter. He played wildcat quarterback. He played drop back quarterback. He played fullback. He played H-back. He played running back. He played tight end. He played linebacker. He played kickoff. He played it all. Mm-hmm. I am thrilled to see him in the backfield getting a handoff, Daniel.
Can't wait.
Genuinely.
I think that segues into what I'm most excited about. Normally, my stock answer that I come loaded up with for games like this, especially when they're the first game of the season. Now, the last couple of years, Georgia hasn't had a game like this, first game of the season. Oregon last year, Clemson the year before. But when you have a game like this and it's the first game of the season, the answer is normally my stock answer is this. I'm excited to see the young guns, right? I'm excited to see Jordan Hall on the defensive line. I'm excited to see if Aguero gets some snaps. I'm excited to see what's happening with Ernest Green, even though, he's not a true freshman, but I'm excited to see if he gets run, if he's fully healthy, if things are looking good there, or how he looks or performs. I'm excited to see what happens at the other corner spot. All of those things do excite me. I am excited to see these young players, and we do think that there are going to be young players that are going to make a significant impact on this team. And you won't know that fully this week, but you will see a lot of it this week. You will begin to see it. But that's not my answer this year. This year, for whatever reason, I think with so much consternation about Stetson Bennett, obviously, moving on, and the change at quarterback, and the uncertainty, Mike Bobo, and all of that, we're not going to learn anything about that situation in this game. But I'm excited to see the dudes come back out on the field. I'm excited to see Ladd McConkey back out there in a Georgia uniform. I'm excited to see Van Prant back out there in a Georgia uniform. Tate Ratledge out there moving people in a Georgia. I'm excited to see Nazir Stackhouse out there. Pops out there. Kamari Laster. I'm excited to see the guys that we know are going to be great, that we know are going to be elite. But we haven't. It's been so long, Clint, since we've gotten to see them out there do their thing on the field, and I think that time, the memory fades a bit of just how special some of these guys are, because you get enamored with other players, and you could just only think about so many players at a time. And so we've spent all offseason talking about Dominic Lovett. And is Dominic Lovett going to come and revolutionize the Georgia offense? But hey, here's Ladd McConkey, and he is the best returning receiver from Georgia's team last year.
Yes.
And probably going to be the best receiver on Georgia's team this year. And I'm excited to see him come out and do his thing alongside guys like Dominic Lovett, Ra Thomas, and new faces, Oscar Delp as well. So that's what excites me the most. There is a bit of a reason to worry, as you hinted at earlier, though, Clint, and we're going to get to that right after these.
Right after these are, in fact, game time.
We love game time. We do love game time.
Let me just tell you what's happening here. Okay.
What's happening? Maybe it's Friday. And you're trying to get up to Athens Town tomorrow. Okay. Maybe you're saying to yourself, "I'm so excited. Maybe I'm just gonna commute in. Maybe I'm just gonna head out,
And we know what
I
happens
don't
on
need a
long
hotel
weekends.
room because those have long since sold out. I don't need a hotel room. I'll sleep in the car. I'm just going to go down to Athenstown and I'm going to get into the state. But lo and behold, Clint, I do not have a ticket. I don't have and it's the last minute. There's no way I could possibly get a good deal on a ticket, is there?
Daniel, how foolish and wrong you are. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time is the place to get all of your great deals. Last second, last moment, last day. Don't go stressing about it. Don't go towards the stadium looking for dude who is looking for tickets himself. He's not looking for tickets.
Okay? He doesn't need tickets.
He doesn't need tickets. He needs you to give him money so he can scam you. That's what he needs.
That's correct. He needs to take advantage of a sucker, and that sucker ain't you.
Don't be a sucker. Go to Game Time. And right now, Game Time, you can get the app, download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Yes, let's not bury the lead, Daniel.
Let's get nervous.
It's UT, Martin, and everybody. I guarantee you. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the comments are going to say, Daniel, Clint,
come on, guys,
chill out, guys,
chill out.
Or
if we go the other way, they're going to say, guys, slow down.
Hey,
slow down. Don't get so ahead of yourself.
Hey, cockiness is
don't be so cocky. Also, don't be so down on this team. But don't be so cocky.
You be just what I want you to be.
It's real fun in the comments.
It's a real
fun time. We love the comments.
We love the comments. People love the banter. Mm-hmm. But there is cause for concern.
There is.
And here's the concern.
Okay.
You and I do not know at this current moment the long-term health of any running back on Georgia's roster.
Save Cash Jones.
Okay, thank you. Cash Jones.
Cash Money out here, he could run for days. My man out here running ultra marathons. He could run and run and run. The ball ain't heavy, Clint, and he ain't tired.
Just in the back, raising his hand.
He said, I'm not tired, Coach. I'm ready to go again.
Coach, I'm fine.
Cash Jones may have 100 yards in this game. Don't sleep on it. That's segment 3.
Well, I was just going to say, get to segment 3. Let's make a little bet. You and I don't know right now. And Georgia fan, you don't know. Kendall Milton's hamstring is a concern for me all season long. I don't want him to suit up for 2 weeks.
I've been concerned about Kendall Milton's hamstring for nigh on a decade, it feels like. It just like
before he arrived in Athens, there was a premonition of a Fresno kid coming in, and Daniel said, this one
doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good.
Kendall Milton hamstring is consternation and will be all season long. I don't want him to suit up for 2 weeks at all. Dejon Edwards, it has been in the program a while. He is a workhorse dude. He is fantastic, but Daniel, he's been banged up before as well. He's been on the report. Okay.
Andrew Paul.
Oh, yep.
Coming off significant injury, just trying to get his legs back under him.
The most accomplished running back in Georgia history after an ACL injury was not himself for that first year, Daniel. All year. Not even close.
Okay. He was still elite. He just wasn't himself, which is the best running back in college football.
This is what I mean, to him.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be a source. I am worried that this game will only make me nervous for 3 weeks from now. Not this week, because I think Cash Money going to do his thing just fine. Sure. I think a rotation. I think Brock Bowers even running is going to be fine. But it's going to make me vomitous for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks from now.
Mine is similar, but not the same. I'm nervous that guys are going to play that I don't want to play. That's what I'm nervous about. I'm nervous that Smile Mondon's going to play. And I want him to be healthy enough to play. Don't get me wrong. I want him to be 100%. I just don't want him to play. I almost don't know if I want guys like Ernest Green to play, even. Like I mentioned him in the first segment. Just even guys who are, Kirby's been saying, oh, they're fine. They're good to go. They're back practicing. They've been dealing with a little this, a little that. I mean, the running back room is the most obvious room. But there are guys all over this team that I would just assume not see this week. If you want to get them a little warm-up, if you want to get them a little runway before we get into South Carolina on the 17th SEC play, yes, let's get them out there next week. Yes, let's get them out there at home week 2, next week after a full week of practice. That's when we can get them ramped up. That's when we can get them ready to go. I would prefer not to see Smile Mondon in this game. I know that Kirby says he's out there practicing and he's 100%. I would prefer not to see Smile Mondon in this game.
Because here's with these cats that are alphas and the whole 9 yard, they're gonna go, Daniel, if they
don't know any other way to go.
They have no clue. So if they're gonna play, they're not gonna throttle down anything, and Kirby would never want them to, which is why Kirby has one of his most famous words or phrases is, if we needed him, he could have gone again.
That's the Kirby's. That's Kirby's 101. Let me just tell you, Kirby, you don't need him. Don't send him. That's the thing. I want the Kirby's to come true this week, because in that case, if we needed him, he could have gone. Great. We can all be clear you didn't need him. You don't need him in this game. You don't need... I mean, even how's Michael after coming off his offseason surgery? Is there anything going on? If so, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him.
Here's
don't
the deal.
Send him out there.
I'm going to give you an option. I'm going to give you 2 options. Option 1 is we win by 25, but we don't have a single one of the guys you just mentioned play.
Yeah.
Okay? Option 2, we win by 50, but all the guys you just mentioned play, and it's a roll of the dice what happens. Give me winning by 25 with none of those guys playing all day long.
Do you remember how people made fun of us when we struggled against Kent State in Missouri last year? Do you remember how people made? Do you remember how Florida fans got in the comments? Do you remember how that? And then what
Florida
had
fan,
happened?
by the way, this morning, let us know you're here. Do a roll
Just
call.
chime in. Scully ready. Let us know. And then what had happened was we won the national championship, went 15-0.
Oh, that's
we
weird.
struggled with Kent State and Missouri. Yeah, if we come out of this game and people are like, "Oh, I don't know, Georgia didn't look itself. I think there might be some serious concerns on the defensive side of the ball. I think there might be some serious concerns on offense. Georgia didn't really look itself in week 1." Fine. I don't care about that. I don't care about that one bit. Let it happen. I'd rather these guys just take a week off. Just one more week of preparation before we get into the season.
We're going to come back after these and tell you what not to sleep on for this game. This is one of our favorite segments all week long. Daniel.
Yeah, because this is where the 199 comes in. Welcome,
You're not part
by
of
the way.
199. You now are. We've just christened you. When you see that logo, you've
made
been
it.
christened. You've been welcomed.
You made it. By the way, if you don't see the logo, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening on audio, go subscribe. Maybe you're like, I don't watch videos on YouTube. That's fine. Go subscribe to the Locked On Bulldogs YouTube channel. Trying to get to 7,500 subscribers by the time we really get into the season. Would love to have you join us. If you are watching on YouTube and you see the beautiful 199 logo there, go subscribe to an audio platform. Follow us on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on Spotify. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. All those things are super helpful. 2 announcements for the 199. One, this is your last chance to get into the Pick'em League. If you email me today or reach out on Twitter today,
It's got to be.
it's got to be today. Don't come Saturday morning trying to get into the Pick'em League. You boys are going to be busy with preparations.
First
Okay?
of all, not a Saturday. Period.
If you need me, stop needing me on a Saturday. But if you email today, lockedonbulldogs@gmail.com, or reach out on Twitter @DogsPodcast, we will get you into the Pick'em League. You can join. A bunch of you are in there already. Happy to have you. Secondly, next week, we are dropping a significant announcement for the 199. Like a significant opportunity, an invitation to the 199. maybe a lot of you have been having some trouble with the Twitter DMs lately. I've been getting a lot of emails, lockedonbulldogs@gmail.com, saying, I tried to DM you on Twitter. Twitter's not like, Elon Musk is destroying Twitter. What if I told you there's a better way?
We got a solution.
We have a solution to your problem next week, sometime next week. I don't know when. It probably won't be Monday. We'll see when it is. Sometime next week, significant announcement for the 199. All right, Clint. Let's get to Don't Sleep On. Cash Money going to rush for 100 yards. That's number one. We're going to get that out of the way
don't
first.
Don't sleep on Cash Money going.
Don't sleep on Cash Money going to the ATM and saying, I want to make a significant withdrawal. You understand? I want to make
There's a new importer-exporter in town.
Yes, sir. He said, I'm going to buy the whole business. I'm going to buy the whole freight line shipping company. That's what we're going to do. What's your first Don't Sleep On? Yeah, that's my first one. I got several, but that's my first one.
That is fantastic. I'm here for it.
Cash Money going to rush for 100 yards. I believe it.
Don't sleep on your memory of past recruiting cycles, defensive ends, and pressure sack artists being renewed, and you saying, oh my gosh, I forgot we had him. He could lead this team in sacks. He could lead this team in sacks.
And he not being necessarily just one guy.
I was just going to say, fill in blank of 4 or 5 guys that rotate through whoever it is. Don't sleep on the very, very green, fresh, and not part of your everyday vernacular defensive linemen showing out, defensive ends showing out, and making you believe that they could be leading this team in sacks, Daniel.
I'm going to zag a little bit where we've been zigging here. Don't sleep on a slow start. That's my second one. Don't sleep on a couple series and a little bit of rust on the old cogs and wheels for Carson back in the offense. There will be a monumental freakout if that happens. Like, I'm talking about people on the internet will be calling for Mike Bobo's job. Do not sleep on at some point in the first quarter of this game. I told you Mike Bobo is a clown tweets to be coming through, because they're going to be coming through. Just 199. Ignore them and move along with your life. Don't expect on a little rust, a little bit of a slow start. Maybe Carson Beck trying to force an issue early on because he's a little juiced, he's a little excited. I'm not saying he's going to turn the ball over.
Okay,
I'm just saying maybe he's trying to force into tight windows, a few incompletions, a few errant throws because he's a little geeked up. And so don't sleep on an overthrow here and there, a missed assignment here and there, a missed block on the perimeter here and there that causes a run not to break. A little bit of a slow start. 2 series of grinding, and then the explosion of offense comes.
I think you're right on that. Don't sleep on Kirby Smart having an abject another coaching meltdown on the sideline because of said slow start. You think it's UT Martin. You think, okay, let's coast in. You saw Billy Napier get it handed to him last night, and he was stoic.
He just stood there and took it.
That's what he got slapped in the face, and then he was asked, "Would you like another?" And he didn't say
almost
anything.
Almost as if he's accustomed to that. Almost as if that is part of his regular routine.
Kyle Whittingham said, "Oh, okay, then yes, I can do what I want. I can slap you again. That's great." Kirby Smart's going to have a meltdown somewhere in this game because here's why. Here's where it's likely going to come. It's likely going to come third, fourth quarter when there are guys who have not had tons of experience, gets onto the field and has a blown assignment, a blown coverage, does not do what they're supposed to do.
Young pups. AJ Harris going to be out there on the field at corner, and he's going to let a guy get by him on the sideline.
And Kirby is going to call a timeout. After he's gonna call it, like one of the three. He's gonna call it, and he's going to pull him over to the side, and he is going to coach him up, and it's going to be glorious.
That's the thing about games like this, Clint, is for you and I and the casual fan, They mean very little. We go through the motions. We hope nobody gets hurt. We win the game. We move on to next week. We're on to Cincinnati. But for Kirby Smart, there is so much valuable film that is going to be collected and used to teach. And every second of film that finds its way into the hands of Glenn Schumann and Todd Hartley and Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart, every second of film equates to better football players. There will be better football players in week 2 for Georgia than there are in week 1 because of the things that happen on the field in this game. And I don't mean the touchdowns or the interceptions or any of that. I mean the assignments and people being in position, out of position. I mean the blocks that were accomplished and the blocks that were missed. All of that is reason to be excited about this game being played. All of that because Georgia is going to get better, not only on Saturday, but primarily Georgia's going to get better on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. And then they're going to get to do it all again. Guys, could not be more excited for this game on Saturday.
Couldn't get me to be.
You couldn't possibly ask. The 2-time, back-to-back, defending, reigning national champions of the world are going to take the field in a quest to do something that no one has ever done in the history of college football. Minnesota beat Nebraska one time and then come and talk to me. I guess you did technically on a last-second field goal beat Nebraska. Come on, if you watch that game, Minnesota did not beat Nebraska. Minnesota didn't beat Nebraska. Minnesota lost to Nebraska, but managed to win the game.
Yes.
Georgia's going to take the field tomorrow. We get to watch it. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the season. We will be back on Saturday night. If you're subscribed to the YouTube, we'll be back on Saturday night. The pod will be dropped on Saturday night. The Overreaction Show, I could not be more giddy. It's my favorite show of the week, every week during the season. We'll see you then. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you after.
See you guys then.